Good evening. Thanks for watching. A very busy night. The roads are slick tonight. You'll get much more on the dangerous conditions in just a minute. But first, it looked like a sunset tonight. A massive glow in the sky from about 7:30 tonight to about 10 o'clock. It was actually a pipeline explosion all the way in Estill County. Now, this is near Highway 89, also known as Winchester Road, between Irvin and Winchester, southwest of Clay City. And we have a flood of eyewitness pictures. Many of you have shared your images on our Facebook page. This eyewitness picture from Dinah Martin in Waco. Look at that. Take a look at this eyewitness video. This is a view of the fire from a jet flying from Washington, D.C. into Bluegrass Airport in Lexington tonight. And here is some eyewitness video from a WKYT viewer, Dustin Sebastian. Thank you, Dustin. He took this video from his backyard in Waco. He says this was just seconds after the fire began, and that was about 7:30. So you can imagine how frightened people were as they saw this all develop. Our Tim Johnston is in Estill County tonight now with the breaking details. Tim?
Well, Sam, the fire has actually calmed down, which is great news out here along Highway 89 in Estill County. Some people are actually making their way home, but earlier tonight, it was a completely different story. Fire officials say the flames is likely from a pipeline break, and the column of fire was reaching 1,000 to 1,500 feet in the air. One witness who lives nearby says the force of the explosion was so intense, it blew open her double doors. She, along with close to a dozen other homes, had to be evacuated in a half-mile to mile radius for safety reasons.
I was laying on my couch about to fall asleep, and all of a sudden, I have two double doors, all of a sudden, boom, and it flew my double doors open. I thought it was a bomb. I really did. I thought it was the last few seconds I had alive.
Obviously, some pretty intense moments there. I spoke with several other residents from this area that say the pipes run across a horse farm, but fire officials say at this time they don't believe the flames spread to any structures. Now, Columbia Gulf Gas Company has been out here on the scene for some time now. They say they aren't sure what started the fire. They say they will begin investigating once the area is safe, but their primary concern has been public safety at this time. Now, other fire officials say that there have been several challenges to getting close to this fire. One of them has been the icy roads. They've had to do a lot more blocking off roads to keep people from passing into a dangerous area. They also say, one firefighter said that really a challenge to a gas line like this is if you put water on it, you risk putting the fire back into the pipe and causing bigger problems. Reporting live in Estill County, Tim Johnston, WKYT 27 News First.
Tim, thank you. Again, the bottom line, we have no reports of any injuries so far and no reports of any major property damage as well. The American Red Cross set up a shelter tonight over at the Estill Springs Elementary School for any families in that area who want to stay away from that scene. We'll continue to follow the story. We may have an update here shortly later in the newscast with some more information. Good afternoon, and thanks for watching. A crater large enough to fit 2 school buses inside. That's all that's left behind after a massive pipeline explosion in Estill County. It happened last night around Winchester Road in Estill County just after 7. Here's a look at what's left behind from 27 Sky First. Officer Don flying over that scene earlier today. And you can see how the blast scorched nearly everything in its path from the ground to the trees. Tim Johnston talked to one family. They were just yards away from the blast area. They talk about the frightening moments in our top story at 5 o'clock.
We're here at ground zero of last night's explosion in Estill County, standing right over the cliff where the explosion happened. This is a look down onto the crater where the pipeline broke open, sending flames almost 1,000 to 1,500 feet in the air. Still, neighbors in the area are surprised at what they survived last night. Monday night, a massive explosion rocked Estill County, forcing many families to flee their homes.
It literally blew me out of the bed.
Next thing I hear is this big boom. It felt like the whole house, like the whole upstairs being like shifted.
And that and the brick wall, I'd say, is the only thing saved our house.
Tom Stevens and his son Dylan say they're still in disbelief staring at the explosion site.
It was so bright, it looked like the sun was coming up. We did do a lot of praying, and we were spared. But it absolutely just disintegrated all this.
Stevens says he's especially thankful his family is safe after all they experienced.
pretty much 120, 130 degrees where it was just radiating through the house.
Still, the explosion caused some damage to his and his daughter's home.
My daughter, she lives even closer than me, and it blew her doors completely open. She was trying to grab both doors and shut them, and the heat was so intense that she couldn't do it.
Even with the intensity, Stevens is grateful that he and his family were able to get away safely.
Thank the Lord for this bank here, because it pretty much absorbed most of the shock.
Columbia Gulf is on the scene continuing their investigation this evening. Coming up at 6, we'll talk to more neighbors about their dramatic escape from the big explosion. In Estill County, Tim Johnston, WKYT 27 News First.
Pretty amazing. Officials from Columbia Gulf Transmission say it may take some time to figure out exactly what caused that explosion. Good evening. Huge flames, a loud noise, and a bright glow that could be seen for miles and miles. All of that adding up to one frightening evening for people living near a gas pipeline that exploded.
Tonight, investigators are still trying to figure out what caused that explosion in Estill County off Highway 89 just north of Irvin. Officer Don was able to fly over the scene of that blast earlier today in Sky First, and as you can see, the fire scorched trees and grass around the pipeline and left a big hole in the ground. We begin our top story team coverage with Tim Johnston. He talked to a family living nearby, and they say if not for a hill, they may not have a home tonight.
Over for a while. Jim Winkler, like many others in Estill County, still cannot believe the blast they survived Monday night.
It was really rough. You was running and you didn't know what you was running from.
Just a short distance away, the ruptured pipeline sent fires shooting more than 1,000 feet into the air. Still, his house remained untouched.
This hill we're standing on right now saved me from a lot of that, but you could really feel the heat.
The day after, his shock turned into amazement.
It charred this here, and up there, I think it just the intensity of the heat just cooked it.
A look around the once familiar hillside proves to be anything but.
You know, I had a hayfield down there that sort of grass looks like a rock bed now.
And Winkler says this green area is what the ground typically looks like, but after last night's explosion, this is what people are seeing today. A crater left in the ground and a barren wasteland left behind.
Gone. Looks like the desert now.
Winkler knows he was spared, unlike his neighbors, the Rogers family, who were cut off from escape by the fire.
Well, they had no way out. I mean, you know, to go out the back.
According to their neighbors, the Rogers home was too dangerous to stay in. Their only option was to retreat to the hills.
It blew out the windows out of her house.
Just actually thought they were going to die. She said, we're going to die. You know, we're not going to get out of here.
Winkler is thankful that he and his neighbors all survived, but he says he still has many unanswered questions.
What sparked this? What caused it to do that?
In Estill County, Tim Johnston, WKYT 27 News First.
Columbia Gulf Transmission Company, which operates that pipeline, says no customers lost service because of the blast.